How to Train Your Dragon is the exact same movie as the animated version, but uglier. Have you ever thought to yourself, I wish I could see How to Train Your Dragon, but gray, dull, and longer? Well, have I got the movie for you. And look, it's not all bad here. You can tell there's a lot of love and care for the original, which is more than I can say for some remakes, but the end result comes out being the same movie, but worse. It's practically beat for beat. Every scene plays out exactly the same way, and in the same sequence, to the point that halfway through the movie, I forgot that I was watching a remake at all. Now I get it. Hollywood's gotta make money. How to Train Your Dragon is a big family franchise for Universal, to the point that they just opened an entire theme park land dedicated to it. But this adds nothing. Zero. There is no new interpretation or expansion of ideas. It is exactly the same movie. And I cannot emphasize this enough. Uglier. Why does every new Hollywood production look like ungraded log footage? Why are they afraid of colors? Now, I will say, the cast in this movie actually pleasantly surprised me. Mason Thames and Nico Parker are great as Hiccup and Astrid, and Gerard Butler surprisingly doesn't act like a robot. My lone disappointment was Nick Frost as Gobber. I generally like Nick Frost, but I think he was a little too timid in this role. In fact, Gobber might be the perfect encapsulation of what this movie fails to do. It tries to thread the needle between the tone of the original and more grounded realism. But I don't think it really works here. You have this very gritty, realistic landscape, and then all of the dragons look exactly like they do in the animated version, but higher polygons. It feels like they should have just committed to one or the other. Either go fully fantastical with it, like the animated version, or fully ground it. Instead, they landed somewhere in the middle, and so various scenes lack energy. In animation, all of the characters are overly expressive, and all of that is toned down here. It's a similar issue that the Lion King remake had, where they tried to make everything so photorealistic that they lost all of the expressions of the original characters. But the difference is that Toothless and all of the dragons look largely the same as they do in the animated versions, but they tone down all of the expressions for some reason. I would love to give a full review on all of the merits of this movie, but ultimately it's going to come down to whether or not you like the original. Do you love the test drive scene? It's also good here. In fact, my entire audience leaned forward in their seats when that happened. And thankfully, John Powell's score is still here and delivers in full. And I know it's a new recording, but I honestly couldn't tell the difference. They may have added more orchestral layers to it, but it sounded exactly the same as I remember. And exactly the same as I remember seems to be the thesis for this entire movie. Director Dean DeBlois, who famously said that he hated live-action remakes, seems to have taken one for the team here. He knew that they were going to make a live-action How to Train Your Dragon movie anyways, so he might as well be the one to do it. And I will concede that there is heart to it. You can feel the love here. Despite it not looking as good or hitting the same highs as the original, it doesn't feel soulless. So I guess the best thing I can say is they didn't ruin the original. They've likely avoided the crazy internet trolls saying that it's woke. Oh wait, they didn't. But the worst thing that I could say is that this shouldn't exist. If you just pull out the Blu-ray of How to Train Your Dragon and watch it at home, you're going to have the exact same emotional experience as with this new version. But if you do that, then Universal doesn't make money. And on one hand, who could blame them? Disney just released a live-action, low-budget Lilo and Stitch remake that was originally intended for Disney Plus, and as of the time of this recording, it has made nearly $800 million at the box office. So, I get it. It's a business. But I'm not here to review your business sense. If I were, I'd be giving this 5 stars. Great job, finance team. I also find it kind of funny that Lilo and Stitch and How to Train Your Dragon have live-action remakes releasing within 2 weeks of each other, because Dean DeBlois and Chris Sanders wrote both original animated movies. But Chris Sanders wasn't involved here because he was off making new franchises rather than resurrecting the dead. If you haven't seen The Wild Robot yet, you should really check it out. But at the end of the day, should you go see the live-action remake of How to Train Your Dragon? I think it really depends. Do you want to support new and innovative franchises and ideas? Or do you want to increase shareholder value while a company exploits your nostalgia for existing franchises? Maybe if we vote with our wallets, Universal will stop the cycle of live-action remakes of classic animated films. Oh fuck, never mind.